welcome to the 1996 Rothmans Phoenix Park Motor Races, an event that's now an integral part of Irish motor racing tradition, the first car having run in anger here as far back as 1903. In fact, the car I'm standing beside now is the car that won the 1929 Searstall Trophy, the Alfa Romeo driven by Ivanovski. Well, this is an event, of course, that the home drivers don't want to miss. It comes as a welcome change to their traditional stomping grounds of Mondello Park and Kirkeston. Well, there are two major attractions here today. First of all, the Classic Grand Prix, which we'll be showing to you shortly, featuring a number of historic cars. They look absolutely wonderful. That's one that many of the crowd are looking forward to. And, of course, the appearance of Damon Hill, the leader in the Formula One World Drivers' Championship. And he'll be driving the Renault Spider a little bit later on. We'll have that for you as well. But first of all, we've some touring car action for you. Let's join our commentators, Alan Tyndall and Colm Doherty.
At the beginning of last season, the RIAC and Dunlop, the sponsors, made a very brave decision to make the touring cars just 2 litre. And the result of that decision has been, quite honestly, just dynamite. Because since then, the grids have grown, the excitement has grown, the tension has grown, and that's what we're going to watch over the next 8 laps here of this triangular Phoenix Park circuit. They're on the green lap, in other words, the warm-up lap, and they will be coming round to take up their positions after practice, and Joe Foley will be going on to pole position. But it's a whole variety pack in there of front-wheel drive 2-litre saloons.
Yes, indeed, Plum. The Dunlop Irish Touring Car is probably one of the best classes of racing that you'll see here this weekend at Phoenix Park. This is all very, very tight stuff. It's very competitive. As you say, all 2-litre cars and everyone very much on the same pace. So very close racing in store.
Joe Foley, there he is, on pole position, moved up from the Peugeot 205 class about a year ago. Very competitive man indeed. Alongside him, the multiple saloon car champion, Michael Cullen, in the National Batteries car. On the second row of the grid, the little Honda VTEC car of Brian Ward. Ed O'Connor in a Renault alongside that, and that's a car that's got more and more competitive throughout the season. Then we've Sean McGill in one of the older shape Opel Astras, and alongside him will be Gordon Kellett, and he's the man there, number 2, that actually leads the Dunlop Touring Car Championship at the moment. 8 laps to go, 22. That's another one of the Barrable brothers. And the last minute rush to get the mechanics off the grid. They're all sitting waiting. Tension is high. Joe Foley on pole position.
Yes, Joe Foley's on pole position, but I think the man to watch here could be Ed O'Connor in the little yellow Clio Williams as they go down to Dublin Crystal Corner. Watch out for that little yellow Clio Williams on the second row.
Hands in the air from the marshals, they're ready to go, the flag is dropped and away they go, the lights have changed and Michael Cullen tucking in behind Joe Foley, trying to get the run of them down, and look at the bit of a squeezing match with Kellett there in the third row, but Michael Cullen trying to come across the bows of Joe Foley's not going to make it. The Honda's in third place, and we wait and hold our breath to see if everyone can get round Dublin Crystal Corner. They have, it's a miracle.
Yes, Michael Cullen went around the outside there, and unfortunately it is the long way around, and he lost 3 places there. And that's something that we often see can happen at Dublin Crystal Corner.
Now they have a little breather, if you could say that, down Rathdown Motors Straight before they come into our side again, coming down into Magnum Ferry Glen Corner, and maximum braking at this point on a very uneven surface.
Yes, this is one of the few opportunities here for overtaking on this course. It's very, very tight. A lot of cars will try to dive down the inside under braking here, and one of them just getting up on the grass.
And a big, somebody missing there. We don't see Michael Cullen. What's happened to Michael Cullen? He's not in that back. He's back in about 5th place, so he must have missed the gear.
Yes, Michael really has been swamped now, and he's given himself a lot of work to do, I think, over the next 7 laps.
Already we've got a bit of damage in one of the Peugeots there in the middle of the pack, but Michael Cullen is in behind Gordon Kellett there in about 5th place. So the Honda now in 2nd place of Brian Ward. Joe Foley leads. Brian Ward is 2nd, and then Ed O'Connor in the little Renault Clio in 3rd place as they come streaming down the Dunlop Straight to complete 1 lap.
Yes, what a glorious moment now for Joe Foley to be leading this race. It's probably the most competitive field of saloon cars we've seen in Phoenix Park for years. Joe Foley, of course, is... Oh, and a spinner there.
Barrable, it's Michael Barrable, number 22. He's got a huge dent cavity in the side of his Opel Astra, and that's not going to affect his performance, but it's certainly going to affect his bills, and indeed, I'm afraid, sadly, he's pulling off. So obviously, something seriously wrong with the car.
Yes, I think there could be a little bit of oil down at Dublin Crystal Corner now. It looks very, very slick, but we have Joe Foley leading down to Furry Glen, to Magnum Furry Glen, and this is a very, very tight corner. First gear stuff, very important to keep on the track here. A lot of cars will run wide up onto the grass.
So, interesting situations, two abreast. That's Barry Barrable there back, a man who holds the lap record around here, and he's surprisingly far down the grid. He had gearbox problems yesterday. Here's the battle for third. Gordon Kellett for fourth, I should say. Gordon Kellett under big pressure from Michael Cullen. But earlier on I noticed that Michael Cullen's brakes were locking up, and a challenge for the lead.
Yes, indeed. Brian Ward driving superbly here, and he may have to jump now on Joe Foley. These two guys were second and third here when they raced yesterday afternoon, and now they're fighting for the lead.
And it's all about slipstreaming and just when to pull out of the other man's draft. And I think really Brian was a little bit early out of it then. He didn't get the advantage. But the little Honda VTEC, very good in a straight line, and lacks a bit of traction sometimes. Look at this, three abreast. The third man in there is Sean McGill, who's paying considerable attention to the other two Astros who are battling it out.
Yeah, in many ways, Plum, I think.
There we see a replay of it. Oh yes, big contact. That's further down the field. That was, in fact, a lap earlier. Michael Barrable getting a severe smack from one of the Peugeots.
Yes, well, as they come down into braking now for Magnum Furry Glen, in many ways, the man who's sitting pretty here is probably Ed O'Connor in third place. He's watching this close dice from a safe distance. He's not under any threat at the moment for third place, and he's really the first man, I think, to get the Renault Clio on the pace in the Touring Car Championship.
So let's do a little update. It's Foley, and then the battle, we're going back to this battle for fourth place, and there is Jonathan Files in the Lynx Peugeot 309 just coming into the view there. But here we have back in the battle for first. Joe Foley's still under pressure from Brian Ward as they come on to the main straight again. Now Brian Ward really has to get tucked in here behind the slipstream. He's not close enough in this lap, so he just has to hope now that Foley is going to run out of brakes for Dublin Crystal Corner. They're braking from about 110, 120 miles an hour down to about 35 miles an hour into this corner. Ed O'Connor in third place, pulling away a little bit now. Gordon Kellett in fourth, a very frustrated Michael Cullen in fifth, and sixth Sean McGill.
Yeah, so we saw Joe Foley has just lost the lead now, and Brian Ward from Ashburn is leading this race, and I think that Ed O'Connor may even swallow up Joe Foley under braking now for the Furry Glen.
Oh, major mistake from Joe Foley. He presumably left his braking a little bit late, got himself into trouble on the grass, and yes, Ed O'Connor is into second place. So quite a change as they come down into Magnum Furry Glen this time.
Yes, well, we can see some body damage there on Brian Ward's car, but what a wonderful position for the Dunlop Touring Car Championship and for this class, because we had three different makes of car in the first three. We have a Honda, then a Renault, then an Opel.
And indeed in the championship they do all kinds of things to handicap themselves. If you win a race in this, you have to carry extra ballast for the next race, and there's all kinds of grid arrangements. So in fact Gordon Kellett, who's lying in fourth place there in the Castro car, is leading the championship but hasn't actually won a race yet this year.
No, that's an interesting one. All of the winning, all of the victories have fallen this year to Michael Cullen and Jonathan Files. Jonathan currently down in 7th position. He's not having his best performance here today, but he's had 3 wins this year.
And easily the most determined man at the moment is Joe Foley in the Atlas Tires car there, really putting on a big pressure of the Park Lane car, and quite legitimately Ed O'Connor just easing his way across the track, not making it easy for the Astra, but I think the Astra just got through into second place. We'll see when they come into shot down into Magnum Furry Glen Corner any second now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Foley is up into second.
No, indeed, and you're actually right, Plum. Although it's very tight, they're side by side now into the braking area at Furry Glen, and Ed O'Connor has the racing line here, so Ed should be able to hold off Joe. Joe, of course, a very experienced driver, and he's incredibly determined right now. He's furious with himself for losing the lead, and my goodness.
Oh, daft stuff from Joe there. He got himself front-wheel drive, of course, as they're trying to drag you up onto a curb. He got himself up in the grass and couldn't get off it, and he lost seconds, absolutely. There's Jonathan Files. We just saw a brief glimpse of him there. He's won 3 races so far this year, but we're looking at this battle for second place.
Yeah, well, Brian Ward now, I'd have to say, has this race firmly under control. And this is by far his best performance this year. He's only had a 3rd place up until yesterday. And there's our leader, Brian Ward, as I say, his best performance this year.
Now, funny enough, he said to me in the paddock just before the race that he was very confident. He felt if he could get out in front, he knew his little motor car. He's done quite a bit of work on the suspension on it recently. He knew that it had the capability of winning here today, and that's exactly what it's doing. In fact, at the moment, it's walking away with it.
Yes, well indeed. I think Phoenix Park, very much a power circuit here as we see another overtaking manoeuvre down the field, but it is a power circuit. The long straights will always favour a car with a strong engine. And of course the Honda Civic with this VTEC technology, which Brian Ward has under the bonnet, a tremendous advantage here, I think, in Phoenix Park.
It was Jonathan Fowles that we saw on the grass there. A bit of a hard-stopping moment. It's not the place to mess about it on this circuit, but he's ahead of Sean McGill. He's moving up rapidly. So let's recap. Brian Ward in the lead. Second place, Ed O'Connor in the Renault. Third place, Joe Foley, the pole position man. Then we had Kellen. Then we got Michael Cullen. And there's the mover. That was just going through picture there in the Lynx car. That was Jonathan Fowles.
Yes, well, of course, multiple champion Michael Cullen down in 5th position, not exactly where he wanted to be, and certainly not where we normally see him. Michael won the championship round here yesterday. He's now actually leading the championship from Gordon Kellett, but he'd be very unhappy with himself to be down in 5th.
We saw Ed O'Connor in a bit of trouble at the Lynx corner there, and indeed, I think he's lost out on the drag down the straight, and Joe Foley, but he's on the outside. He can block that manoeuvre. But Joe Foley will get if he could have kept the power on. In fact, he had to get off the power there. Should have got the fastest line. Michael Cullen now lining up Kellett just in the middle ground there to try and slipstream past him.
This is a very interesting situation here, Plum. I think Ed O'Connor and Joe Foley are in many ways holding each other up, and we see that Kellett and Cullen are reeling them in, so it could be all down to the wire.
Honda in the lead, and we saw in the last picture that Michael Leonard Sr. had come up into the picture in his Honda. But look at this battle now for second. Joe Foley. And this time, tires are getting overheated, brakes are getting worn out. Kellett's still keeping that inside line and goes first. The battle for second now is 4 cars, and Jonathan Fowles is pulling in on that. Great stuff.
Yes, well, it's absolute fireworks now as they come down to braking at Mountjoy corner, and very, very important to get through this corner quickly to get a maximum speed down to the main straight.
There they come, and once again Ed O'Connor in a bit of problems, and they're coming up now up the main Dublin straight. There's no doubt about it. Brian Ward, if he keeps it all together, is going to win this one. But who's going to be second? It could be anybody. Joe Foley now once again pulling out of the slipstream, maybe again a little bit early, but he's trying to get past, and he's got to try and get past the bows of the Renault, and they've done a tremendous amount of work on this little Renault. It's the first time a Clio has been competitive in Irish touring car racing, and it's great to see it. So look at this, side by side, as they go down the Rathdown Motor Straight, 4 of them. Great tussles. What's going to happen at Magnum Ferry Glen?
Yes, Plum, what an incredible dice for second place. We really have 4 cars. You could throw a blanket over these cars. Any one of these cars could finish this race in second place, but I really think Brian Ward at this stage almost has this race wrapped up.
And this is the last opportunity, just about. Foley gets into second. Kellett's going to keep 4th, is he? Yes, Kellett's keeping 4th. There's 1 corner to go to make it all be decided. Jonathan Fowles still pulling them in, but a very happy little man from Ashbourne coming up that straight, the August straight for the last time. They're all spread out a little bit more. Can Ed O'Connor make a last-minute bid here at Lynx corner? It looks unlikely unless Foley just leaves it all too late. Hold your breath as they come through. It should be the checkered flag waiting for them now. Brian Ward, number 25, takes it. His first big touring car win here at the Phoenix Park. Foley second, Ed O'Connor's third, and what a fabulous motor race.
And what a fantastic moment for Brian Ward from Ashbourne.
So, A1 waste. He wasted no time whatsoever in that one. And the enormous crowds here at the Rothmans meeting, enjoying every minute of that. It really is the biggest, I think, Phoenix Park crowd I have ever witnessed. They're 5 deep, waiting to see Damon and enjoying the Dunlop touring cars as they wait. And Brian Ward there on the victory rostrum for the Dunlop Touring Car Championship round. His first ever touring car victory, and what a place to do it in front of the huge crowds here at the Rothmans meeting. Takes the laurel wreath from Richard Warbrick of Dunlop, a handshake, and Joe Foley on the left, and indeed Ed O'Connor on the right, congratulating him after an excellent drive in the Honda.